Have you ever dreamed of being rich in a farming sim? Well, today I'm going to be a millionaire in Coral Island. Why, you may ask? Part of the farming sim fun is definitely the grind, and yes, you are right, and I do enjoy that. But I've already experienced that with Coral Island. I've played 100 days, I've played nearly 100 hours prior to the release. So with the 1.0 release, I wanted a way that I could enjoy all of that new stuff without the slow play. So for this series, I'm a strong independent businesswoman who has sold off all of her assets and moved to the island for a better stress-free life. We'll see about the stress-free part, but without further ado, let's get to spring day one. So first things first, we obviously need a new character. This is one of the best things about restarting a farming sim, in my opinion. You get to choose, and I love the different sliders that they've added in with this new release, which is great. I do wish that I could use one of the flower beards, but I'll just settle for this cute little hair with the little braids instead. With my character completed, it is time to enjoy one of my favourite cutscenes in the whole game. And it's when you sail into Coral Island for the first time and meet Connor on the dock, and you do all of this in a state-of-the-art chicken boat. Absolutely love it. After a few pleasantries on the dock, I was whisked away to my brand new farm. Luckily, Dinda and Joko had been working on my house. I would not be staying there. I would be straight back on that chicken boat if there was a spider in this house. So hopefully they gave it a good sweep. And then I had a little bit of a shock at the size of it. I don't know why. Every time it gets me how big this farm is. And it's such a mess. It is very daunting when you see this for the first time. That's for sure. Connor very kindly gave me a bunch of tools to help me get started on my journey. And then he left me on my own devices. Just me and the farm now. As soon as I could, I checked my mail, and there was one from the Carpenters and also one from the DLC that I had purchased, which gave me a scarecrow, a chest, and a superhero outfit. The chest will definitely come in handy. It's nice to have one straight away. I wasted zero time in getting an area cleared out so that I could plant the crops. I love the fact that we now have two types of crops, and one of them is definitely my favorite. I absolutely love daisies, so I love that that is one of the new starter crops. After collecting a few extra resources from clearing out my farm, I managed to get enough to upgrade my house. So we headed straight over to the carpenter and we got work on upgrading my house to make it look a little bit more homely. Not too much, but it would do for now. I decided it was time to venture outside of the farm, so I made my way into the town. Along the way, I picked up a tulip and met a few different villagers, and then it was time to head into Sam's general store. Connor very kindly introduced me to Sam, and I got my first glimpse at the store. And introductions out of the way, all of this money was burning a hole in my pocket, so I went ahead and purchased the bag upgrade and then went crazy buying lots and lots of spring seeds. Farmer Chic wasn't quite working for me, so I headed straight to the clothing shop, or stall as it is currently, and purchased a brand new outfit that definitely feels a lot better. No more overalls. When I go shopping hard. I also popped into the furniture store and may have made a few little purchases. I swear this whole video isn't just going to be me shopping. I had a little bit of a stroll around town and bumped into a few new people as well. I met Luke and Chame, and then I headed back home. It was getting late and I decided that I didn't want to sleep in this basic bed, so I upgraded straight away. It already felt like such a long day, and by 4 o'clock I was definitely ready to hit the bed. And at the end of day one, we'd already managed to hit level 1 foraging, which is odd because I swear I got like 2 things. On day number 2, I woke up, started work on my farm straight away, and then I headed into town. I decided to take this day pretty leisurely and just kind of waiting for my harvest on my first crop to come, so I just went around and met a few of the different residents and had a good old chat with them. By 3 o'clock, I was already ready for bed. I really should be spending all of my money on using stuff to energize and make the most of my days, but this early on, when I don't have many quests outstanding, it's hard to do. Day 3 was a rainy day, so it was time to do some farm expansion and get use of all of those seeds that I had already purchased. I also visited the museum and found a very sad Scott who was a little bit upset with all of his life's work disappeared. I obviously did the right thing and volunteered to give him a helping hand in restoring the museum back to its former glory. I was on a roll and also headed down to the beach shack to speak with Eleanor and Sunny, and I was very kindly gifted a fishing rod and a bug net. What better way to celebrate than going out on a bug catching expedition? Obviously, I wanted to make a start on getting donations to the museum, so this was a perfect excuse. I managed to make 5 donations thanks to the fly that came out of a trash can. Always appreciate that. I also visited the town hall for the first time and spoke to some new villagers that I hadn't met yet, which also helped me complete the new farmer meet the townies goal. Happy with my progress for the day, I headed back to the farm and spent a long time clearing out some space on my farm. These resources are definitely going to come in handy, and I also made good use of a donut. Yum. On day 4, it took a long time to water these crops. I cannot wait to get sprinklers going on this farm. After my farming endeavours, I made my way into town and it was rudely interrupted by a lot of commotion that appeared to be caused by a protest from a Karen. Normally, I would just put my headphones in and just ignore her, but this seemed to be really upsetting the town, so I decided to pay attention. Turns out they are a nasty oil company and they're here to ruin Coral Island, but we're gonna save it. There is no way Karen is taking over this island. With the protest over, I decided to put my fishing rod to good use and go fishing for the first time. I managed to catch quite a few different fish, which is very surprising for me. There was also a good bit of trash along the way. I mixed it up between the river and also the ocean just to try and get more donations ready for the museum. I headed back to the museum to make some donations. Scott was present yet again and he seemed a little bit more optimistic about the future of the museum. And he'd started talking about a pig starter campaign, or should I say pig starter campaign. Following my conversation with Scott, it dawned on me that I hadn't yet purchased the next backpack upgrade, so I made a quick pit stop at Sam's General Store and purchased that straight away. And I ended the day with some decorating of my cabin. I really want this whole cabin area to look super cute and cozy, so I have a few different items that I'm going to try and put in. Obviously, this will look a lot better once it's been expanded. The next morning, I was greeted by the sassy beast that is Mark. Despite Mark severely underestimating my comprehension levels, he did tell me that the mines are now open. I also harvested my first crops of the whole save and completed the starting out quest. Turnips collected, and I made my way straight to the mines where Kira was waiting for me. She gave me the lowdown on the mines and provided me with a trusty, rusty sword. Don't say that 5 times. These monsters have definitely met their match. I was having some seriously good luck in the mines, destroying all the rocks and the monsters, of course. They really don't put up much of a fight. I quickly hit level 5 to complete the quest and kept going until I hit level 10 and decided to call it a day. Once back on the farm, I crafted my first kiln, and I definitely didn't get confused that this was the furnace. What a numpty. With some time left in the day, I did a spot of evening fishing and bug catching. This helped me get to a total donations amount of 19. Thanks to the day's hard work, I finished on level 1 farming and also level 2 mining. The following morning, I remembered to use my mastery points to upgrade to Speed Demon and use the double ore skill point for mining. Upon exiting my house, Pablo was waiting for me, and I was definitely happy to see him. It was quite hard to pay attention to what he was saying because his teeth are so dazzling white, but I think he gifted me a recipe for the furnace. I crafted the furnace straight away and placed it down next to the kiln, just in time to get smelting these ores. The mines were calling my name yet again, and in the mines I actually found a pink crystal in a crate. Definitely don't underestimate their loot. I made it down to level 20 and decided that I needed a break. Fishing isn't the most relaxing thing to do for a break, but needs must. We have a museum to save after all. I then visited Ben's shop or wagon, camper van, I don't really know what it is, but I did buy a few items, including some very interesting glasses. Whilst I was on my way to the museum, Connor caught me and dragged me inside the town hall to tell me all about the town ranking system. My town is currently F rank, hopefully we can get that up soon because I definitely want to get myself a pet. I did eventually make it to the museum and made 2 more donations before the day ended. Upon heading to bed that night, there was a little bit of a strange dream. Was it a dream or a vision? I'm not really sure, but I think it was a dream. But anyway, during the dream, there was lots of nice flashing lights, some spooky, mysterious fog. But generally, I think what it's trying to tell me is that I need to go to one of the sacred trees, which I will try and remember to do the next day. That morning, I tended to my crops and also collected my first bronze bars, and then I headed off into the forest area to find my sacred tree. I interacted with the tree as it was suggested in the dream, and this weird, giant, fluffy-headed thing appeared and then ran off scared. Because I was so close to the mines, I decided today was going to be another mining day. I managed to find a labradite, I think I said that right, and then I did head to level 25, and I realised that I had completed the quest to unlock the guilds by defeating 30 monsters, so I quickly exited and made my way over there. Inside the guild, I was greeted by Kira, and she seems to be one hell of a monster catcher. I want to be just like her. And then she took me over to Mark, who seemed a bit hesitant, but still managed to pull out his giant sword for my initiation into the guild. Very excited now that I can enter here and obviously use this shop. Hopefully good stuff will come and Mark will change his tune about me. Following my initiation into the Band of Smiles, I managed to make 3 more donations to the museum. We're so nearly halfway there. I did some yet more night fishing. I really feel like fishing in this game is growing on me more and more. I don't know what it is. I seem to be all about doing some fishing in this save. I don't know if it's just the motivation to complete the museum or if that will disappear once I've done that. That little fishing expedition brought me to 26 donations made. We're officially over the halfway mark. Yes. That day I headed to bed with a level 3 mining and level 1 fishing. That night I had another mysterious dream where a log bridge seemed to repair itself, and that morning I had some mail from the chieftain asking me to go and meet him. I also had a notification from Ling, who was looking for suitable diving candidates. I hope that I passed the on-site test. I quickly harvested my crops. I had some more daisies and more turnips ready to go. I made my way to the forest and was greeted by Chieftain. Chieftain did a fancy little ceremony with some flashy lights and razzle-dazzle. And now, thanks to that, I can now read the sacred language with my third eye. I'm not going to ask too many questions. I'm just going to take this as a new tool. This also means that I can greet the temple goddess for the first time. My curiosity definitely got the better of me and I headed straight over to the temple. So at the altars, I didn't actually see anyone, but I did see some pretty pink petals floating around, and this unlocked the altars. I can now start work on the bundles, which will definitely help me progress. After my interaction at the temple, I decided to head to the blacksmith. I had some things to process and hopefully these will go towards my museum donations. I also wanted to start upgrading my tools. I thought it was about time now that we have some bars. However, I forgot the wood, so I made a quick trip out to the forest and grabbed some wood just so that I could complete this and get ready for a brand new pickaxe. After processing those geos, I had 3 more donations to make at the museum, bringing us to a total of 29. I then made my way down to the dock where I spoke with Ling about the diving. She gave me the diving suit so that I could head into the water. She also explained the story behind the oil spill and just gave me a little bit more of an insight, which was nice, but I am ready to start cleaning these oceans. I headed straight down underwater and began work. I forgot how much I love diving. I think that it is definitely my favourite activity over the mines. I don't know why, there's just something so satisfying about it. I managed to heal 1 coral site pretty quickly, and then I did heal another one. We got to 2, but that's when my energy was getting low and also it was getting to the end of the day, so I decided to give it a break there. Whilst diving, I managed to collect a cannibal jellyfish and also a starfish. That brought me over 30 donations, and as a reward I got some bronze kelp and also some bronze ore. Also, thanks to my diving expedition, I finished the day on level 1 diving, which unlocks the scuba stacks and the vortexinators. On day 9, Sergey was outside of my house. I did think it was a little bit too early to be learning about new things, but he decided to tell me all about kelp and kelp essence and the benefits that it can have. In order to create kelp essence, I need to craft an extractor machine, which he very kindly gave me a recipe for. This is yet another machine to add to my ever-growing collection. I also had a letter from Mayor Connor to tell me all about the new festival that is taking place tomorrow. I really cannot wait for this one. The spring festival is so much fun. After tending to my farm, I headed my way to the blacksmith as I had some more coffers to process, and I also wanted to collect my brand new sparkling pickaxe. I made a couple more donations, taking my total amount to 33, and then headed straight for more diving fun. I was determined that today I was going to get the 5 required coral hill sites done, and after a little while working away, I did manage to get there. More diving means more diving loot, so I managed to make a further 3 donations, just 14 more to go. We have officially hit day 10, and that means we are in double figures of my new life on Coral Island. Obviously, this means that we also have the Spring Festival today, so before heading over there, I quickly tended to my crops, and some of them were ready to be harvested. Farm tended to, and I made my way over to the Cherry Blossom Festival in the festival area, and honestly, this is such a nice festival. Coral Island has done a fabulous job of their festivals. All of them have been so much fun, and I'm going to make sure to do all of the activities today. One of the first things that I did was sign up for the Burlip Karung, which is a sack race to you and me. I did get off to a little bit of a rocky start, but I didn't do too badly and ended up coming in second place in the first round, which meant that I progressed onto the next round of the tournament. You would have thought that after warming up in round 1, round 2 would have been a doddle and I would definitely be in a podium position. And I did kind of finish in a podium position, just it wasn't gold. I came third. I definitely had some ups and downs in this race, that's for sure. For finishing in third, I did manage to get some candied tree sap. With the sack race out of the way, I decided it was time for a little bit of shopping, and all of the items that were available in the festival shop were so dang cute. I may have gone a little bit crazy buying everything that I possibly could, but it was worth it. I very kindly donated a silver quality potato into the hot pot because who doesn't love potatoes? Everyone loves potatoes. Because everyone was gathered in the area, I also made sure that I did my best to try and speak to as many people as possible. Look at me being social, this doesn't happen very often. All of that being social definitely did pay off as my relationships improved with nearly everyone. On day 11, I received a letter from Millie who wanted to talk to me about merit points. I will do my best to try and remember to go and visit her. I then made my way over to the temple and managed to complete both the Essential Resources bundle and also the Spring Season bundle as well. That caused for something very special to happen. Completing those bundles seemed to awaken the goddess, and she very kindly gave me a drink. Not normally one to take dubious potions like that, but I drank it nonetheless, and now I have the power to use the fast travel, thank God. I also received some sugarcane seeds and the recycling machine. After my expedition at the temple, I headed to the blacksmith. I picked up my brand new axe and also processed some coffers. After visiting the blacksmith, I decided to go and drop in on Ling, and she seems to be happy with the progress I'm making in the diving area. She even invited me to her secret lair. That is not a euphemism. In Ling's secret lair, she gave me a very interesting science lesson all about the coral and how it works on the island. I think I'm now a self-confessed coral expert. It had been a while since I have been on a shopping spree, so I decided to stop by the furniture store and I went crazy buying absolutely all of the flower furniture items. They are my favourite. I managed to make a couple more donations to the museum. That brings us to a total of 39, just 11 more to go. I made a quick trip home just to drop off some of this furniture. I also did a little bit of a spot of decorating around my crop area just to add some colour. I decided to spend the rest of the evening in the diving spot, and typically I was locked in an area and the very last piece of trash that I cleared out had the activation thing. I was so frustrated at this point. I was like, I've worked so hard, but it did eventually unlock us a new area, so I was very happy about that. And at the end of the day, I leveled up to farming level 2 and I got to unlock the sprinklers and the compost bin. That's a huge achievement. Another night and another mysterious dream occurred. The next morning, I crafted myself a new shiny compost bin. For the first time, I was also able to harvest some very, very pink peonies. They're kind of beautiful. I decided today was going to be a day spent in the mines, so I popped to the guild on my way to the mines and purchased some explosives just to speed up the process a little bit. And I also bought myself a new sword. I love the chicken or the hen on this thing, it's so cute. Before I entered the shafts themselves, Chief Chain was present, and in some form of broken English, he said he needed my help to release the giants from the mines. With that little chat out of the way, off I went, destroying everything in my path, thanks to these handy explosives. I managed to make it to level 30, and I thought I may just have enough time to get to level 40, but by level 37, bedtime was calling my name. All of that time spent in the mines helped me get to level 4 mining and unlock the stone soup. Delicious. And on to day number 13 we go. This is normally unlucky for some, but not for me today especially, as I had plenty of crops to harvest and it was raining, so that's a good day in my books. With my farm tended to, I headed over to the blacksmith to process some coffers and I got some osmium ore. I don't think it's enough to do anything with, but that's pretty cool. I made a quick pit stop at the museum and got a tapper for all of my hard work. I decided to take full advantage of the rain today and also do a little bit of fishing just to help those donations and also my fishing level. Despite the fact that I spent most of the day fishing, I didn't actually level up, but I did get to level 3 in my farming, which means that we've unlocked the mason jars. On to day number 14 and we're officially halfway through spring. I had a letter in my mailbox from Suki who wanted some spring vegetables for her green smoothies. Yuck. I then decided today was going to be the day that we are going to free the earth giant, so I headed into the mines, and despite a little bit of combat here and there, it was a tough fight, but we still came out on top. I did eventually manage to get to level 40 and free the earth giant. I received 4 Jammu for reaching level 40, and Chieftain very kindly stopped by to come and congratulate me on releasing the earth giant. After unlocking the earth giant, I decided it was time for a celebratory drink, so I headed down to Fish and Sips and I celebrated with the other residents. I made sure to be social. I then finished the day up reaching combat level 2, which was a nice reward. The next morning, I had a message from Grog who invited me to come to the giant village. However, did I go there straight away? No. I decided to go diving instead. I decided not to spend all day in the diving spot as there's plenty of other things to do. Upon leaving the diving spot, I had this cutscene with Jim, which was a little bit sad, I won't lie. And it unlocked some form of a quest where he left his picture on the dock and I had to return it to him. I decided that Raphael is going to be the person that I want to romance. There's just something about him, he's nice, so I made sure to talk to him when I visited the blacksmith. I also processed a whole bunch of chests I got from diving. And then obviously I headed to the museum to make those donations. All of these donations meant that I hit 52 donations in total, which obviously means that we've completed that quest, and that unlocked this very special cutscene with Scott where he was very happy about the work that was happening at the museum. Following my trip to the museum, I then headed towards the lake temple to make a donation. And on my way, I had this brief little cutscene with Millie, which was kind of cute. She has been trying to throw flowers into the lake to summon the goddess, but she's also been throwing grass, which I wouldn't say would be the best thing to try. But after that, I did make a quick stop at the temple and made a little donation. They're coming along slowly, very slowly. I also forgot earlier, but I decided it was time to upgrade my silver pickaxe, so I went ahead and did that. I'll see you in 2 days, pickaxe. I also finally remembered to use my skill points yet again. I don't know why, I always forget about them, but we had 3 to unlock, and I think I made some good choices. I also managed to find Suki to give her some vegetables. I gave her a turnip. I hope that tastes nice in a smoothie. I'm not convinced though. All I got was a thank you. I would have did something a bit more than that. I may have purchased some silver kelp from the lab just so that I could craft a couple sprinklers. So I went ahead and made 2 and then did a little bit of farm renovating, farm moving things around for the rest of the evening. That night, my diving leveled up to level 2 and I unlocked the recycling machine, which is a great addition. Cannot wait to start turning some of this trash into scrap. On day number 16, I awoke to a cryptic message from Lele. I think I said that right. I also finally remembered to craft some mason jars and decided to go ahead and make some pickled potatoes. Delicious. I then spent the rest of the morning clearing out some areas on my farm. I feel like it's time to start thinking about getting some farm animals. So for that, we're definitely going to need some space cleared out so that we can get the buildings placed down. With the area cleaned out, I headed to the carpenter, I grabbed some resources and decided that we were going to place the coop. And then I actually realized I probably didn't clean out enough of an area to place the coop because I just ended up putting it in a very awkward place. Or we can always move them later, which I'm very grateful for. After placing the coop, I was like, can you place another building? And turns out you can, which is very helpful. So I also decided to go ahead and purchase the barn. I had a quick look at the other items, but unfortunately I can't place anything else at the moment. So barn and coop unlocked. I didn't quite have enough resources to upgrade my home, however, I did decide to go for a style change and I settled on style number 3. I kind of like it, it's a little bit rustic, so definitely feeling that one. I then decided to head to the laboratory where I would upgrade my seed quality, so we'll now have bronze seeds, we just have to wait 2 days. I also had 2 skill points outstanding. I decided to go for double kelp and also light feet for the bug catching. Definitely hope this helps me because my bug catching is not great. I finally remembered that it was time to visit the Giant's Village. I definitely hadn't forgot about this. Okay, I had a little bit. But I headed over there and Grog greeted me and then he did this little bit of magic and away went the roots. And he welcomed me into the village and gave me a little bit of a guided tour whose house was who. He was a little bit cryptic about one of the houses. But after that, he then showed me the enchantment thing. I don't know what to call it. Temple? Shrine? I don't know what it is. But we can still enchant our tools here, which is very helpful. I feel like I've been slacking a bit with making donations to the temple goddess, so I went ahead and did that. I had a few things to donate, but nothing too crazy, nothing to unlock anything new anyway. I lurked around by the lighthouse and finally the boat showed up and I purchased the stamina fruit. I wanted to purchase some other things, but I didn't have enough room in my inventory, so I just purchased a town model for an artifact and also a geode, so hopefully we'll get something good out of that. I ate the stamina fruit straight away and that little perk will definitely come in handy. I finally leveled up to level 3 foraging, which unlocked some wooden furniture, very nice. The next morning I had a notification from Scott to head to the museum because it was Kickstarter time. So without delay I headed straight to the museum and Scott unveiled his grand plans for a Kickstarter. Or should I say Kickstarter? Connor had a few difficulties understanding this modern way of funding, but we got there in the end and hopefully this will be the sign of some great things for the museum. Following the mothers' meeting at the museum, I headed over to a nearby river and did a spot of fishing. Hello, rainbow fish. After that, I bumped into a few different townspeople and decided to share my love of donuts with them. They all seem to really enjoy them, which is good. Maybe not so good for their waistbands, but maybe the reason they like them is because I didn't make them. Another day means another trip to the blacksmith. I'm sure they must be thinking by now, this person is my best customer. Or maybe thinking that I'm just stalking them, which is a strong possibility. Anyway, I decided to upgrade my bronze scythe? Is that how you say it? I don't know. And also process some geodes. I also decided it was time to upgrade my fishing rod. This should make fishing a little bit easier. Fully equipped with explosives, honestly, I could cause a very large explosion right now that could destroy the whole of Coral Island if someone lit me up. But we entered into the water shaft for the first time, and I decided to go about destroying everything in my path yet again. I managed to make it to level 10, and unsurprisingly, I got yet more candied seed. That things. I finished the day on mining level 5, which unlocked the stone chest and the stone arch, and my friendship or relationship with Raphael has gone up. Yay. We're on to day number 18 now, and there's only 10 more days left of spring. I had a few crops to harvest today, and I also decided to craft some more sprinklers just to make my life a little bit easier. I took a quick trip to the town hall where Millie explained to me all about merit points. I currently have 40. I would love to get some more as the shop looks very, very intriguing. I also had this adorable cutscene with yoga teacher Leah teaching the children how to do yoga. Very, very cute. I love this one. I then headed to Sam's general store to stock up on some seeds, and I also headed to the lab to buy some more kelp because I am so done with watering my crops. I need sprinklers and I need them now. I then headed to the blacksmith to to process some geos and also get my scythe. And finally, I made it to the ranch to buy some farm animals. I bought a chicken called Emily and a cow named Josh. We have a thing where we name our farm animals on games like this after our friends. So if you're wondering why, that's why. I spent the rest of the day doing some chest organization. This is a big task. Eventually, I do want to have a dedicated chest area, which might come in the future. Maybe soon. I don't know. That night, my town ranked up from F to E, which is very exciting, which means I can unlock pets, new clothing, new seeds, new furniture. Very, very excited. The next morning, I had 2 pieces of mail. Look who's popular. The first message was all about the White Flamingo opening their boutique, which is cool. And also from Ling, we had this auto fertilizer attachment. I was a good farmer and remembered to check on my cow and also my chicken for the first time. I'm normally terrible at doing this, but I will definitely try my best to be better. I'd had enough of my farm looking a mess, so I decided to do a little bit of explosive work. Not sure this was the best decision because it actually plowed a number of areas, which was a little bit annoying, but I'm just going to leave them and wait for them to disappear. I popped into the beach shack and collected my new fishing rod, and I also bought some bait to go along with it. I had this cutscene outside of the town hall, which Connor was hosting the general town meeting, or so I thought. In fact, it turned out to be the meeting of the Pablo fan club. I headed straight to Sam's general store after this and purchased some of the new seeds. I don't think I'm going to have time to grow all of them, but I'm definitely going to get planted the ones that will grow in time before summer comes. I also checked out the new clothing options. As much as I think the fishing bag is kind of cute, I really don't like the idea of running around with some raw fish in my back. I also checked out the dresses, and I'm not quite ready for a wedding dress just yet, but some of them were cute, that's for sure. I eventually settled on this new outfit. It just had a bit more of a summery vibe to it. I made another visit to the Golden Boy of Coral Island and processed some coffers, and I also decided that maybe now was the time to upgrade my axe to silver, so I went ahead and put that in. I also made my way to the town hall to try and buy a pet. However, I realized that I needed to put down the home before I could buy them, but they are so cute. I love them all. There does seem to be a lot of black cats though, but not many tuxedo ones, which is like my cat, and my other cat is white with black splodges, so I would have liked to seen a little bit more variety in the cats, but it is what it is. I then spent the rest of the day diving. I need all of the trash to make lots of scrap and also chests. The diving paid off and I hit level 3. I don't think I'll be crafting the scrap furniture though. The next morning I had another letter from Scott. I also had a letter about the tree planting festival. This is one I haven't done before, so I'm excited for that. I decided to head to the diving spot yet again, and today we unlocked Gertle, who gave me some silver kelp. Thank you very much, Gertle. I literally spent the whole day here clearing out multiple areas, which was really nice. It was good to see some progress. This big root thing disappeared, and I also met another turtle. This turtle was called Mantle, and I didn't have room in my inventory, but eventually he did give me an ornate coffer. The next morning I remembered to water my newly planted trees. What do people do about these? Because I feel like I could put sprinklers down here, but do people do that? Is that right, or do you just water them by hand? After tending to my animals and my farm, I made my way to the tree festival. I was very excited for this one because I've kept this one spoiler free, so I don't know what to expect. The festival holding area was nice, but you could tell that there was a severe lack of trees. Dang deforestation. I of course did my normal thing and went crazy at the shop. Did I need more fertilizer? Probably. Did I need this much? Probably not. I then got to work on the main event. This was kind of fun. I really did enjoy the backstory of this whole festival. However, the work that you actually do on the festival is kind of stuff that I should be doing on my own farm and clearing up that instead of someone else's. But hey, we're here for the trees. It's for the greater good, right? For attending the festival, I did earn myself 150 merit points, which is nice. The next morning, Ling was waiting outside of my house. She was very eager, so we dashed off to the lab together and she unveiled her new project, the Diving Suit 2.0. This should definitely come in handy for exploring the diving spot a little bit more. It was also time to finally buy a duck and a sheep. I also bumped into Raphael today and decided to have a little chat with him and give him another donut. He loves those donuts. He's got to keep those muscles big, you know. I also popped in to see Pablo and received my silver axe and also processed a lot of coffers. These were a lot, so many so that I think I'm starting to get duplicates. I even got 2 of the same thing, but hey, it means we're progressing through the museum at donations, which is always a good sign. After processing all of those coffers, I only had 3 items to donate, which made me feel a little bit bitter. I was beginning to panic a little bit that spring was nearly over, so I did a little bit of fishing just to make sure that I had got all the fish I needed. I then spent the majority of the afternoon clearing out my farm with my brand new silver axe. Oh, it cuts like a dream. I finished the day on level 1 ranching. We can now cook eggs. Delicious. My relationship with Raphael also is beginning to heat up. Just ignore Suki and Dinda, okay? I spent the whole of day 23 in the diving spot until I got to the point where I was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. I kept checking the map, I couldn't figure it out, so I gave up and went home to bed. On day 24, I got my first bit of wool from my sheep, or should I say heather. I headed over to the blacksmith and processed some more coffers and geodes. I then of course headed to the museum and donated them there. In total, I've now made 77 donations, which isn't too shabby. I then returned to the diving spot, determined to figure out where I was going wrong. Turns out I just didn't get close enough to this giant root thing to get rid of it. What a rookie mistake. This was another super long day spent diving. I do really enjoy it though. There's something so therapeutic about just clearing out all of the trash. Once I'd finished my diving expedition, I headed to the temple goddess. I donated that large wool and also a shell. Just before bed, I started making up a little bit of a makeshift storage area. I think this will definitely come in handy. My chests are overflowing at the moment, so I needed to do something. The diving is seriously paying off. We've reached level 4. I've got another skill point. I've also unlocked the recipe for the scrap sign and the dehydrator. The next morning, my house got bigger, which is very exciting. I did a quick little bit of decorating, moved some items around, but I didn't want to do too much because the next upgrade adds in the staircase, which is definitely just going to disrupt everything. I checked my mail and I had this mysterious message. It wasn't clear who it was from, but we'll still try and head there. I started the day off right, or not so right. I'm not really a big fan of fishing, but I did still do some fishing early in the morning with Connor. I had quite a few things to process at the blacksmith, so you guessed it, we've got another visit to Pablo. I was able to make some more donations. We made it to 83 in total. Because I wanted a bit of a break from diving today, I decided to head to the mines and focus on making some progress in the water shaft. I decided when I hit level 20 that I was going to give that a bit of a rest. I feel like 20 is a good marker to get to. And then I went off and did some nighttime fishing just to make sure that I haven't missed any fish that I should be getting. I also remembered that there was a little secret path near to where I was fishing that I hadn't yet cleared the way of. So I did that, and then guess what I found? Candy tree seed. Yum. That night, I went to bed with all of the upgrades. I managed to get my farming to level 4, foraging to level 4, mining to level 6, and fishing to level 2, which means that I can craft sushi. I don't know who Jeff Smith is, but he very kindly gifted me a sprinkler. Thank you very much. I decided that it was time to upgrade my house yet again. This was pretty expensive, but nonetheless needed to be done. And I also finally had enough resin to be able to craft a silo. Definitely, as soon as you get that tapper, place it on a tree ASAP. That was not a pun, but it kind of was. Next up, I made my way to the White Flamingo Boutique. I haven't been in here yet, and it is very fancy. Maybe a little bit too fancy for me, but my bank balance says otherwise. I won't lie, I was kind of expecting with the opening of the boutique for there to be more items to buy, new items, but there wasn't, so I went away empty-handed. Missed opportunity. Guess what? I forgot about my skill points yet again, and this time I had 4 just sat there waiting to be used. I hope I'm making the right decisions when implementing these skill points. I finally remembered to head to the beach at 6 p.m. like that letter said, and this wasn't what I was expecting. It was just kind of a cute cutscene between Ben and Suki, who gave me some coffee. I'm definitely not gonna sleep tonight now, thank you. But yeah, friendship, nice. I finally made it to the penultimate day of spring, and I had a letter waiting for me from Socket and Pan. I really should remember to go there and buy some pots, pans, and other kitchen utensils soon. I definitely did a typical Emma thing and placed my pet bed and then forgot to go back and actually adopt a pet. But today I did it and I had a hard time deciding. I couldn't decide which one to pick. In the end, I went for Trinket and I decided to name it Tilly. Tilly is one of my parents' cats' names. They look nothing like this. Tilly is white and orange, like with different splodges, but I still love that name and it was tea, so I felt that's what reminded me of it anyway. The rest of my afternoon was spent in the diving spot. I literally spent it there until it got dark, but some good progress was definitely made. I made a couple cheeky donations to the temple goddess, and then for the final day of spring, I woke up to the best cutscene ever. Paul and his assistant had very kindly brung over my brand new pet. I love this. This is so cute. Because it was the last day of spring, there were so many crops to harvest, apart from this little patch of cauliflowers at the back here, which I realized didn't have a sprinkler and I had definitely forgotten to water them. Oops, but we have plenty of other cauliflowers, so I'm not too upset. You'd think that I would make good use of the last day of spring, but I didn't really. I did a little bit of fishing, I spoke to Raphael a little bit, got a little bit too eager with the gifts, did a bit of bug catching, some more fishing, made a donation to the temple goddess, and then just ran around town. One thing of note did happen. I did make 90 museum donations, which is pretty dang good for just 1 month work. So I finished off the day doing a spot of night fishing, and I did manage to get some fish and a couple bugs that I haven't already donated, so I went ahead and did that before we ended up the day. And then that's it. That's the end of spring. I hope you've enjoyed watching this playthrough. We have finished on Town Rank E. I'm excited to progress that even further when we move into summer. Summer definitely has a lot more exciting things coming as well. We get new festivals, there might be someone new coming to town, and also we get to see everyone in their swimwear, ooh la la. So stay tuned for that video, hopefully it'll be coming soon, but I really hope you've enjoyed this. I know it's not the traditional way to play, but I've had a lot of fun with a little bit of help from that money. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.